Hello, everyone. We're back. It's been a long summer, hasn't it? I hope you've been keeping well. I hope you've been able to get out lots and just have a break. Yeah, I appreciate. I just really needed a break and took annual leave, and it just helped me so much. I feel so much topped up for a change of scene, and yeah, I hope you've been able to do the same. I don't know whether the chat box is working. I can't yet see anything from anybody. Oh, great, Stephen, thank you. You're the first to first I can see your comment. So thank you. Yes, hello, Stephen. I hope you've been keeping well. Yeah, thank you, and hopefully, Lady Frag as well. I hope it feels really nice to get back to being a bit more cozy. I was keen to give myself time off as I do encourage well-being, and that includes myself as well. And I also just got thoroughly offline. I think it's really healthy if you can have times when you don't share everything all the time. It's not good for the mind. Adrian, lovely to have you back. And good morning. Maybe. That's Barbara, isn't it? He's very good, much good morning. I wonder if she'll be with us again. So it feels like I don't know about you, but it feels like a fresh, very much money. It feels like a fresh new month, and the start of the year gets a little bit cooler, a bit easier to do things again. Oh, good. I'm glad your phone did its wonders there. Actually, we've already got a good little group. That's really good, Alberto. Excellent. It's lovely, lovely to have you here as well. I know it's a bit of a break, so it's a bit hard to know when I was going to appear again. I tried to leave a note on the last fortnight fold, but I will be back now every fortnight. I've just been thinking what else we'll do. This is the very tail end of the summer, the fold that we'll do today, which is from a lovely, lovely book from a fantastic origamist, budding, uprising origamist, Peter Buchan-Symons. And he has so kindly been incredibly supportive and has offered his wonderful new work in support of wellbeing for everybody as well. So thank you for your care and for your support. I really do appreciate it, because it's been quite a lot doing so much origami. I love it, but obviously new things all the time is quite a challenge. So thank you, Peter. So this is very much the tail end of the summer, isn't it? And I shared some of these as films, but it's nice to do this as a live fold. And this is actually a really mind-bogglingly brilliant one. I know it's been Peter's design. He's shared his diagram, I think it was in the British Origami Society magazine. And also he's been at the live conference, which just happened, I think, at the weekend, if I'm not mistaken, the British Origami Society convention, which I have very happy, fond memories of. I'm still keeping away a little bit from big events, just generally. It's nothing personal. And I know that it's a mix, isn't it, for I think every group, to how much do you gather in person, how much not, and we're obviously trying to find some kind of balance. So I think also Peter shared this live, which is amazing too. So I hope it had gone well. It's really wonderful because this, believe it or not, is made from a square and it's a pentagon, so it's starfish. And I've been looking very much at the real starfish. This is one I found in a charity shop. Yeah, don't recommend that you buy these things new, because it will represent the death of probably quite a lovely old organism. And poor old seas are decimated by us, really. So yeah, this is a second-hand one. You can see one of its legs is getting a bit tired. Isn't it just so beautiful? I love the symmetry. And actually you can see where it's falling apart, but it's almost like a piece of modular work. Look at all these amazing patterns. And you can see how it's the pentagon in the center there. It's very mathematical. So Peter's design literally comes from a square and becomes the shape of a starfish. It's also 3D, so it's got that right feel to it. It's just amazing. So I would encourage you, maybe, possibly, if you're up for it, you could also do a little bit of doodling as well. You can see I've done a bit of doodling, inspired by some of the shapes on the starfish. Oh, wow, fantastic. BBC Bradford. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, that's completely fair enough, Stephen. I'm with you there. BBC Bradford. I was listening to something on, was it the same as BBC Bradford? It was certainly in that area. Yes, I did I did hear some of that as well. It's fantastic, really good. Yeah, it must have been a lovely event. I'm sure it was well supported, but I guess we're transitioning that some events are live and some events online. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alberto. All the compliments are coming to me now. Yeah. What else was I going to say? Ah, yes, actually, these films are very much for support of colleagues and patients, and but they're for everybody as well. So it's lovely to have your support. And as an NHS worker, and many of the people obviously I work with are, so you will be able to get your booster very soon. I hope, obviously, for those who are vulnerable soon too, but for healthcare workers, because they're also working with vulnerable people, so the more they can keep protected. So I'm very, very excited. Next Wednesday, I'm going to have my booster. I'm going to have both a flu vaccine and the COVID booster at the same time. So I feel very fortunate. I'll probably feel a bit groggy after two together, but you know what? Let's get it out of the way, and very thankful for it. And I'll soon be doing some outreach work in some schools, so I'll be very glad to protect myself, to be honest. So if you get that opportunity, grab it. I would. Great. Yeah. And it may be for some of you that you've folded this already. And it's often the case with origami. Maybe if you do lots of origami, you already feel very familiar. But you know what? It's like being with an old friend. It's lovely to do it again and do it with another group of people. And I find you appreciate it in different ways each time, because you're still learning as well, and you're still appreciating things too. So it's definitely fine if you're repeating this, but for many of you, I think it will be new. So grab something to press on. Grabbing my board. It's been a little while. I've even been giving myself a break from origami, and actually had an amazing summer. It's been so good. I hope you've managed maybe to get away. I'm going to fold this in half. It definitely feels a little bit cooler now. Although I'm actually dressed up because I'm going to be going to a garden party for a department that I'm working with. You see, wearing some beans because it's going to be in the garden. Right, and I'm going to do a little tiny nick there. All we're doing, first of all, is making a square. There we go. I've got an A5 piece of paper. I'm going to take a corner, line it up. It's really good news, isn't it, Marnie? Honestly, I'm so excited. How bizarre is it to get excited about having a vaccine? But I am, because it's been a long time since I had my last one. Obviously, I've had the 3. I'm going to remove this. And so I turn it over, fold it back. And I might encourage you, if you wanted to, join me in doing a bit of doodling. Oh, excellent. Yes, I agree. I agree, Marnie, as well, that if you've done something before, it's actually good to do it again, because you're starting to learn it a lot more. So ignore actually the diagonal folds. If you have origami paper, don't even bother. But I am just going to really briefly be a bit inspired by this. I'm going to do things in 5s, I think. Maybe it'll end up being the right places. I don't know. Then I'm going to be less organised. I'm just going to scribble away. It does make it look a lot more interesting, I think. Well, certainly unique. Oh, I think it needs a little bit of orange, don't you think? There we go. Right, I've doodled away. Lost in a moment of doodling. That's it. Okay. Are you all happy? Have you got your piece of paper? Excellent. I know. Yes, isn't it great, Stephen? Well, it feels like a miracle, but I personally have not, to my knowledge, had COVID. I've obviously had all my vaccines, and I am pretty careful. I'm still wearing FFP2 masks. I try and be as careful as possible. I actually got long COVID in the family, so I'm very much aware that you can definitely have problems, and I'm just trying to protect those around as well. But very lucky, and I'll be very glad to get that extra protection. So I'm wishing you all as well, when you get that offer, that you're able to use it if you can. Right, so I've got coloured on one side. If you're using origami paper, turn over to the white side. And we're first of all just going to fold this in half. So I guess I was about to say, Stephen, you must have folded this because it was in the magazine, I presume. Although maybe when you're editor, maybe you just don't have that chance to do everything. I don't know. And then the other line. So we've done one line, and then do the other. So we've done the vertical and horizontal. So that's all you need to do for now. Horizontal, vertical, depending which way up you are. Happy with that? I think there's just almost with this, there's one really tricky bit, and actually from the diagrams I really struggled as to what to do, but I'll be able to show you if you've struggled with it as well. I have to say, as soon as if you ever tried drawing a diagram, you'll realise how exceedingly hard it is to communicate through drawings as to how to do origami, which I think is why I myself need that help from a person often. So I'm going to take the bottom edge and I'm going to bring it up. Do say if you need me to pause if you weren't ready. And I'm leaving, can you see, a little bit of a gap below there, below that middle line. And squashing that down. That looks fairly even. So I'm just seeing it in the screen. Looks okay. Happy? So I brought that up, but a bit below that line, below the middle line. Happy? I'm then going to take the top line, the top edge, and bring it down to the very bottom edge. So I'm taking this and bringing it down. And a big shout out to Eric. He may be watching this afterwards, so thank you for your messages as well. Very glad to hear that you're so generous with your origami, that you give so much of what you make. It's very good to hear. So it should now be, if you think of it as almost a card position, so it would be up like a card. That's the way around that we want it. Yep, up like a card like that. Are you all ready for the next step? So with making things with the 5-fold symmetry, it's always a really interesting angle, this, you'll see. We're going to fold it in a moment from the top there down to that corner. So we're going to take this and we're going to fold it from that top point down to that corner. There we go, like so. So that came forward. Now we might as well, while we're here, just take this and fold it back the other way. So we're going to take this corner and fold it back. So actually it'd be the same forward and back now. So I'm going to take this, fold it back from that top down to that corner. The thing I always find with the folding, it's been a while since I've been doing this, is do I look at what I'm doing or do I look in the screen? I mostly try and look in the screen, but sometimes things can feel quite tricky that way, because you're also not able to be so accurate, but then it confuses your mind if you look from one to the other, because I'm doing everything effectively in the mirror. But hopefully it's nice that you're being shown it directly. So have you got something like that now? So actually, if we turn it front and back, it's exactly the same. Now, happy? I'll just pause until you let me know that you're happy for me to move on. It's normally Eric, isn't it, who normally says yes. I don't know how he does it with folding and typing at the same time. And yeah, thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Money. Right, so our next step is, at the moment, we're going to take this corner, this outside corner, and we're going to bring it to touch that point where it intersects. Can you see? So I'm going to take this point and I'm going to bring it to that. So I'm moving it around and I'm touching it just there, and give a really, really good strong fold if you can, just along there. Big strong fold, and then opening it up. Great, excellent. And now I'll turn to the back And the same thing, that outside corner where it meets there to that exact point, twisting it round, big strong fold. That's it. And then opening it up. Right, so we're going to use these lines, which is why I was keen for you to do them nice and strong. This is the only point I have to say I still struggle with a little bit, so be patient as well. You may find yourself finding this tricky, but it is possible, and actually in principle it's quite simple. So if you open up the side, we are just going to use the line that we folded there, and really all we're doing is reversing the direction of this line, so it's almost like it's not a square, it's an off square, isn't it? But we're going to be changing the direction so that this is sticking up, it sticks in. This it sticks in, sticks out. So we're just going to take that top layer. Okay, it's very interesting in the mirror. Recommend. So I'm going to take this, and I guess I'm just going to change the direction of the line. So I'm going to get this to stick out rather than stick in. And the line, which is there, will go inwards rather than outwards. Oh, it's amazing how tricky just reversing the direction of things can be. Good for your mind. So what you'll end up with is this sticks back, hopefully, to that same point that before we were aiming at. Can you see? Have you managed to do it, or did you want some more help or explanation there? Please say if you need. So it should be sticking to that same little point. And it was not adding any extra lines, but just reversing the direction. And I know it's not very easy. Got it. Well done, Marnie. That's good. Do shout. Well, I'm going to do it on the other side. So that shows you it's the same thing again. So turning it round. Again, we've got this strong little line there. And I'm opening this up. And I'm going to take that top layer. And you've got this, is it a trapezium, that shape? And I find the main one to focus on is that diagonal line, and there's doing it so it sticks out rather than sticks in. And I'm just trying to get all the directions the other way around. And then squashing it down. I do think it's advanced just for this, really. And I don't even know why that's tricky. But there you go. So it should, that point should stick to that line. Not up or down, because it could almost go anywhere. So hopefully you've got something that looks like this front and back. Yep. Now next, are you all ready for the next step? How are you doing, folks? Any good? Need any help? It is a little bit of a fiddle, isn't it? Don't know why that's tricky. Just is. That's what I find anyway. So you're not alone if you are finding it tricky. So I'll take you on to the next step, unless you shout otherwise, which is I'm going to fold along. Can you see this is the sort of horizontal line? At the moment, this sticks down. We want to do it so that it all lines up along that line. So if you take this and then fold this up for now. So I'm just trying to line it up along the horizontal line. And I'm folding up for now, just so I can see what I'm doing. Because actually, once you've got it in a nice, that lines up, I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to flip it around the other way so it disappears. Because I definitely can't do this at this point in the screen. Right, which is just to go underneath. Do you know, Stephen, if the next convention would be online, or is it going to all be in person? Or is that, I suppose, undecided maybe? Because I do, I think others are also in that same, not wanting to risk gathering. I have now flown a few times, which was a massive leap because clearly you're sharing the air with others, but wearing my FFP2 mask, good protection. It really has. It's hard to know what's protected, but overall, between the vaccines and the mask, not had it. And again, I folded it up just to see what I'm doing, and then I'm going to undo it and tuck it away. There we go. So it should be looking like this. It's kind of all got neat after it was sticking down. We're really very close. So here's my piece. I've also, as you know, I've been going back to the wards. That's just been brilliant. Lovely to work with staff again. Obviously, we're all wearing our masks, but I feel like I can communicate a lot. You can always communicate lots of origami with your voice and how you are. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Stephen, to have a mixture, because I think if it's only one thing, it's not fair on everybody. I think that fusion, I would have thought was the best thing, because there'll be lots of people who are vulnerable or older who may also be feeling excluded then, and the mixture is good. It's also cost-wise much, people are also going to be excluded in terms of costs to stay anywhere, buy a ticket for something, travel. I would be quite reticent. I would have thought a lot of people will start to go, can we afford it as well? So it's not just COVID, but it's also access that way too. So I would have thought maybe every other would be good to do the two and just alternating or something. So we're going to take that outside and we're going to flip it round and fold it to meet that line. So I am flipping it round like that. Oh gosh, have you got thunder there? I'm about to go to the garden party. Looking okay at the moment. Oh goodness. That outside line, flipping it round. Have you managed to do that? I found this quite a complicated step from the diagram, actually. The other thing to do at this point is open this up. There's a little bit that sticks out there. Lift it up and tuck it over this. I find that good for the next step that's coming. Is yours looking like this? It's frozen. Oh no. Oh, well, it should be recorded. Adrian, it looks as if you're okay. Is everybody else okay? Is it frozen at just Lady Frag's end? Or do I need to repeat anything there? Touch wood, I think my internet connection's okay, but do say if it's not. If I need to repeat anything, you're fine. Cool. Yeah, I think it's Lady Frag then at your end, I'm afraid. But it will have recorded, so you can always get back to it. Oh. You just never know. Maybe it's the storms. That seems reasonable, doesn't it? So I hope it's looking like this. Now turn to the back. And it's so neat, this. But we're going to take this edge and flip it round to line up with this edge. And hey presto, looks nothing like a star. Move that round. We're not folding anything. We're just lining this up with this. Squash it down and you'll see how accurate your various folds. That little arm is quite little, isn't it? Starfish can be a bit wobbly sometimes. So you'll see, you'll get a feeling for your accuracy. This isn't very accurate, but it's pretty amazing that this has come from a square, isn't it? And it's not modular, it is why is it small? Anyway, I'm sure you'll forgive me that I'm doing it into a lens. It's definitely harder to be accurate. So at the moment, it is a bit of a wow moment, isn't it? It was like that, look nothing like, and then bing, a star appears. But actually, it doesn't quite hold together. And the next step is so clever because it will make it fit together. Excellent. It will make it fit together and it becomes quite sculptural and it just makes it all work. So at the moment, you can see it's a star shape, but look, it's sort of sticking up and things. And obviously some layers are very thick and some layers are very thin. So the next step to do, and then it's really done, is take each arm and just fold it sort of back from the middle upwards. And it's kind of more of a sculptural thing, really, because it's so thick in parts. But it'll start to give it a bit of a 3-dimension. My tiny arm here, and maybe it's a starfish that's been damaged on this side and it's regrown an arm. I think so. So we're gonna again folding it in the middle there to the center, to the edge of the arm. Oh, is it your iPad then? Oh, never mind. And then yeah, so they're all different sort of sizes. Mine's obviously really inaccurate this time. The others have been okay. The joys of folding live into a camera. Clearly need more practice again. Again, folding there to there. But hopefully you've done better than me. I still like it. It's got character. So I'm doing this for each side, and it starts to then sort of hang together a lot more, really. And it starts to look a lot more starfishy, and you're not getting it lifting up in the same way. You can see from the underneath that sort of shapes that you're doing for each of them. And hopefully, there you go. I think here's one I did earlier would work. It's really nice, isn't it? Well, this is Peter's brilliant design. I found it quite fun to do lots of different sizes, lots of different colours, and it really does have such a starfish feel. Oh, you're very welcome. I hope you enjoyed that. It is a brilliant design, isn't it? Clever Peter. Very kind to have shared it. I hope it's worked for you. Yeah, I know. He's a mathematician. That's it. Because I have to say, I have been designing a little bit, but really just from playing around and seeing what happens. I have no idea what happens. Whereas I think that Peter does know what's going to happen, which is the difference. Yeah, he's been coming up with so many different things. So watch his space. He's still very young. I'm sure there'll be so much. It's great, isn't it? Oh, I'm glad you like it. Yes, I go for the more evolutionary approach, which is to randomly create mistakes and see what evolves. Most of it probably will not work, but sometimes it will, which is the stuff of evolution. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back live in 2 weeks' time. So it's the Fortnight, and that's because I'm also doing things live, and I will be vaccinated by then. How lucky am I? I really hope you get the opportunity when you do. It's a shame a lot more isn't being offered, but I guess it's a whole old balance, isn't it, of things. I just happen to be working in a hospital. We definitely need to keep those patients as safe as possible. So it's a very good thing that we're offered it. And if you wanted to do any more of Peter's work, have a look. He's done loads of different things. He's been doing these seasonal ones, which I love. This summer, and a sort of spring and a festive little booklet, which is I think about 12 or so designs, something like that. Well, in this case, it's 13. And I think he's done other different books too. So if you look up PBS Origami, and I think that's on Etsy, or have a look at his website. But anyway, he's very kindly let me share, and I'll just share some. I won't share them all because that would be a bit unfair. But I hope you'll enjoy that. Oh, hopefully, Marnie, you will get it. Yeah, I think it's at first it's just probably for NHS staff and those who are clinically vulnerable. So look after yourselves, everyone. I hope you have a good fortnight. Sorry, I keep wanting to say a week, don't I? I hope you have a good couple of weeks, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.